Hello, welcome back to Ancient Spellcraft. Ancient Spellcraft is an Electroblob add-on that adds a lot of cool stuff. So it adds new ores, items to make, new ways of learning magic, also new elements, and a lot of artifacts. Look at this whole line. That's the line of all the artifacts. Okay, so let's get in it. So the first thing you're gonna get in, you find is some ores. So you have the normal ores for representing each element, and you have the new ore. So these are all of them are made by Ancient. At this ore, Divertium, it's a new ore that you can use it to make some cool items. So you can make a bomb. So this bomb, it's a bomb that exhausts. So if anyone goes inside this, will have something called magical exhaustion, and all of these items represent the same idea. So if you get close to these materials, you will have magical exhaustion. Same for the door, also for the weapon and the pickaxe. So the sword and the pickaxe, if you have them, but you will have magical exhaustion, but you can still use them, so you can get them as early thing. Okay, now to learn the new elements or to learn the spells in general, you will need those two items. So to make the first item, you will need a sphere of conjures, and to make that item, you will need 4 gold, 4 carpet, and 1 block of crystal in the middle. So, and we'll get to how to use it in a bit. And the last thing you will need is the scribing desk. And to make the desk, you will need some planks and some wood, some slabs, wood, and bookshelf, and a book and quill, and the last thing is the glass block. Now let's get into the fun part. So the desk, you have to add some stuff. So the first thing you'll need to add magic crystal to give power, and you will need ink, and you will need to add a book here. These are all here. Now the last 3 things is the spell or the recipe for the spell and the materials that you will require. So to know the recipe for any spell, you will need to go here for this here and just try to understand these items. You will find something called a stone table, and you start from small, stone, large, and the grand. So by putting it, you have a lot of different possibilities. So this is a spell for this. I got a spell, and you will need to put magic crystal here. That's a spell too. For example, we got an enchantment. Let's try one more time, and I got another enchantment. And basically, for example, I can show you the more you can get a spell. You can get a buff. So this will, after using it for 6 seconds, you will get a buff, and you will get spell blast for 15 minutes. So it's a really strong buff. Now let's get into it. So now when you go here, you will have a spell. So you put it here, and it will tell you give me a recipe. So you will need, for example, an astral diamond. So we'll just get that one astral diamond. Okay. Now, and also you want a grand magic crystal. Okay, and the last thing is a golden apple. Okay, so now you got your recipe. You just put it normally, simply here, and when you do so, when you put it correctly, this icon you can finally click it. So if I remove this, you see, you can click it. When you will click it, and you will get the new sort of element and the ancient spell book. Okay, and that's simply how to make this. Now let's go get into trying all the spells in Ancient Spellcraft. For the spells, first thing I'm gonna try is the Ancient Spellbook, and the Ancient spells are basically a combine of all the elements in this one unique magical element. Okay, so we're gonna try that individually. Okay, so the first spell we have is Project 1, and what Project 1 is, gives you a buff that has a chance of deflecting damage from you. Okay, second spell we have is Eagle Eye. What Eagle Eye does is that you just get this jump boost to the sky, and you can see everything, and you have that effect for 8 seconds. Then after that you will go down. Okay, let's go after Bubblehead. Bubbleheads put this effect on you, where these bubbles will be basically protecting you, especially underwater, but whenever you take a damage, it will be removed. Okay, Farsight is basically when it's like Optifine. Can just see as far as you. Okay, okay. Block waving. Okay, so block waving is block casting. So we need to have a block in the offhand. So they just get some stones, and then we can block. So you can just basically, so you can just remember one spot and then just go in the other spot and just put all of that. So it's really good for building. It's super useful for building. Okay, that's okay. But that's a spell where you take mana from yours and give it to another mana. So you just basically take mana from a left side and give it to the other side. Okay, so this one especially this spell, which there is a magic. It's kind of the magic where it just deals. Okay, so let's just put a zombie here and just hit it here. So what it does is that it takes the passives or like remove magical effects. So it's just like anti-magic. Okay, and the last spell we have here for these spells for the group is the silence one. These are silence, and what it's just basically makes everything no sound in this area. Okay, now let's go for it. So Abstract of the Hunter is a spell which buffs your arrows and make them travel for longer. Crystal Mine, it mines some. It's a basically a mine that you can put and make it explode later. Yeah. So I'll just in quick wither. Well, let me just clear that wither first. Okay. So get that zombie for example and just blow it up. It's it's basically a mine. Okay, let's go after channel effect. So channel effect is you channel effects from you to a different player, and you just basically give them an enchantment. Okay, might and magic, it's a buff, so strength and health boost. Channel power, this is an enchant spell where enchant magics used to use where you channel power from character A to character B, and so you can guys use a really strong magic, and as worded by the author of the mod, you can make miracles. Okay, arcane, it's simple. So if you have any blocks around you, so this spell will just make them come to you. Okay, light is okay. Well, put this thing here at the top of your head where it will have you'll have just light source around you. Really good. Okay, so this is the same spell that we saw before, and it was just greater, so it just have the same idea but stronger. Okay, arcane beam, you shoot at a beam which deals good damage and you can upgrade it later. Okay, mana flare, you take mana you just take the burning mana out of a wand and use it to be water walking. So we had some water, so you just basically walk at the top of water. Yeah, and you can see you can just walk at the top of the water. Okay, let's go for the arcane spell. So this increase the blast and the range of your next meta spell by channel. So basically you buff your next spell. Okay, and this is the same idea, you make your next spell stronger, and the charm is basically also a buff to your spells, or like basically channel. Perk is a buff, protection and deflects damage from you. It's really good for buffs. Okay, non anti-magic field, I'm not gonna use it because it basically comes from the idea. I don't want to give myself that annoying thing and use magic, but makes us a field of magic that cancels all magic spells. Okay, essence is just you channel your wand and then you take the essence of an item. Okay, this is a really cool spell. So you shoot a beam of laser where you shoot multiple different beams, and each one will do a different effect. So like each one of these will have a different effect. So like here, so like one here that deals damage, one just for shooting, one for fire, and arcane is this is the absolute ultimate protection, and it's just like the best version of all of them. This is projectiles will be deflected at the people that throw the ability. Okay, you will just ask a wizard to come and help you fight, and make them your ally. Okay, last thing is the Severus, what gives a huge weakness or basically a huge debuff on someone. You can use it on any target. Okay, for the sorcery spell, we have the first spell we have is the Conjurer Fetching Rod, in which you get the idea of it. In Electroblob, you summon this spectral weapon or an item, and you have also the shield, which you summon a shield. So and it looks really cool. Okay, now go for that. Okay, so this ability is very strong. Look at this. So like I'm wearing, let's say, 2 pieces right now, only, right? If I use a spell, now I switch to a different set. So basically, you can memorize one set, or and then switch between them. So I can memorize between 2 sets and keep switching between them. So that will be good. So you can have like, let's say you're gonna have your Archmage or like Warlock builds, and you can switch between them. That would be very useful. Transportation portal, this is the ultimate version of the transportation, and it also needs to have the transportation stones. And look at that, and you can talk. Okay, the next 2 spells, which is the time, and this is manipulates time, so they're like time. Okay, last one is the temporal one. It's a debuff that you put on someone, but I can't really use here because I don't have other players, but it's just an annoying debuff. Last thing, which one of my favorite ones, is pocket dimension. By using this spell, you will be teleported to a different dimension. Where you can have it is basically your pocket dimension, and you can put here. So you can, this is your own dimension, nobody can enter it, and it's really cool. And you can just click here, and you will teleport it back where you joined that pocket dimension. And that is the last spell for sorcery, for the element, for the sorcery spell. Next element we have is the lighting, and the first spell we have is feather falling, and you know feather falling, so makes you just fall really slow. Now second spell, which is the static charge, it will enchant your sword with the static enchantment. So basically every hit you're gonna hit will have a static damage with it. Last spell is the Eye of Storm, and it gives you this ball where you can just move and fly with it and just run from your enemies. And you can damage as much as you want. And that is the last spell for the lighting spell. For the healing element, now we have the first spell is Heart of the Healing, and basically you throw a heart that heals. Look at that. Okay. Now the second one is the Chant of Celerity, and basically you give yourself speed and all of your allies. This item the next spell removes any curses from items, and cure a zombie. You can get the idea, you can cure a zombie. Now this spell gives this protection to one of your teammates, and it's a huge protection for huge protection. Curse word is the same idea. You give this huge protection, you get this huge protection for 2 minutes from curses, from a lot of different things. And last thing is the secret mix, and you summon this secret weapon that you can fight with. Only just kill all of these zombies with this sacred weapon. Since it's sacred, it just puts undead in fire. Okay, that's the last spell for the healing element. For the necromancer spells, and these spells have some of my favorite spells. Okay, so the first spell is that you turn as a villager to a zombie, basically. Okay, now Puppet Master, which is one of my favorite spells because I enjoy playing Electroblob with summoners. As a summoner, so I like to summon things. So Puppet Master, it calls your puppets, or basically all the summon mobs that you've summoned, and you can target someone. Curse Armor, you can curse an armor with any so by you throw it at someone. Okay, Rise Skeleton Mage, basically you summon a skeleton mage which will help you to fight. Summon okay, so what this does, it weakens the power between the 2 dimensions, or the overworld where these mobs are summoned, so it will make them stronger and stay for longer. Now we have the Spirit Ward, which makes undead mobs cannot enter, zombies and stuff. Okay, the Shadow Blade, you get this Shadow Blade and you can fight with. So this is my summoned, and skill it with the Shadow Blade. Okay. Next spell is the Unholy Alliance, and you can guess what it summons all of these cool infinite skeleton mage that all have different elements that they can fight with me. So like let's put them into test, right? So we'll just summon this zombie, and look at that, shooting them with everything. That's really cool. Okay, the last spell is the Curse of Death, and this curse works in a way. This curse will kill anyone after 3 days. After 3 suns have returned on this person, it will kill them. So it's a really powerful spell. Okay, and that was the last spell in the Necromancer spells. The next element we have is the earth element. And so the first spell we have is the horse whistle, and this is a magical whistle that will call my pet, or like the last thing that I read as far as it was, because it's a magical. Now we have the stone punch. Like, oh yeah, I have to put it in my other inventory so I can get the stone punch and punch stuff with it. Look at that. Look at this stone punch. Okay. Now, next spell we have is regrowth, which gives you the inner an enchantment or like regeneration. Harvest, basically you get the idea, you harvest. Okay. Summon a boat, so just summon a boat here. And you just summon this of boats. Okay. Next thing is the nature, so it just gives you like an indication for nature. Now, tame an animal. You just tame an animal immediately, and you can just throw some flint at something. And the last two spells we have here is Stone Fist. Okay. It's a better version of this of the other fist. So let's just summon something first. Look at that. Stone Fist. Okay. And for the last ability, okay, let's just get that. Okay, the last one is the last one is summon a spirit bear which will fight with you, and the last spell, which is one of my favorite, call a call of the pack. You summon all of these wolves to come and fight with you. Look at these. Look at how cute they are. Okay, and that is the last spell for the earth element. For the fire element, now we have the first spell is Candlelight, and you spawn this candle, which basically a fire up at the top of your head. You have some vision. After that, we have Firewall. Just summon a wall of fire. Okay. Now we need some zombies. Okay. So you look at something and you burn the essence of that whatever you look at, and just set it on fire. Okay. Asgate is basically a portal to the nether, and you can tell there's a portal to the nether, and if you go you can tell back. I'm not gonna go, you guys understand. Okay. Magma is basically you get a buff or makes you faster in the nether. Now we have the fire ant, which basically is one of these fire ants. Well, basically they look like fire ants, ish spider, ish everything, and it's just really cool as a summoning spell. And it takes a lot of focus from you. Okay. Now we have a spell where we need to summon some stuff to burn. Okay. And look at that. And the last, and that was the last spell. Okay, it just summons this amazing fire, deals damage to everything. Okay. And that was the last spell for the fire element. For the last spell we have is the ice spell, and we have the first spell is Frost Nova, and basically it just puts this frost or the shards of the frost all around you, dealing damage to everything around you. Now we have Extinguished Flames, and you can get the idea, just extinguish flames around you and gives you fire resistance for a few seconds. Okay, and after that we have the Elemental Water, which basically you summon a water source. Now we have the next spell, it just builds an ice hound. Look at that. Okay. Now we can make an ice warcraft bench. Also we can make some snow blocks, and we can swim like a fish. This makes you really basically swim like a. And we have the ice shield. Look at that shield. Okay, and then we have after that is the ice tower. It will take a second to me, and that's it. We created an ice tower, basically the same idea of a wither tower but all in ice. And the last spell, you surround yourself with this ice around you, but you regenerate health. So basically you save yourself by making this solid ice around you to save yourself, then you can regenerate back and heal yourself. Okay, and that was the last spell in the ice element. Now for the last thing that I want to talk about in ancient spellcraft is the artifacts at the end. So we have so many different artifacts. Look at this line, and all of them do different things. So like we have the first thing is the beta, and it's a ball where you can sneak and right click and put some XP, basically put some XP. Now what we have after that is the shield and the spell breaker, which basically puts the shield, and it has a bigger range, and it just puts this lovely shield on you. Okay, now let's go. After that we have the ring of poisoning shots, which basically grants poison on things. And okay, now we have on some of these artifacts are gonna be like that. So like here is the ring where arcane, so it works for that for the spell which pulls all of your item in your old items to you. It's enhanced, and most of these artifacts are gonna be like that. So like they're enhancing something or a rub off. Okay, so we have the ring of the berserker. Getting critically wounded sends you into a battle rage, enchanting your strength. So when you take damage, you get more damage. Okay, ring of the power, and that grants you +5 spell potency for all spells, but increases mana cost by 5. And in this ring has a jewel power, and you can go up to 4. Okay, now that we have after that the prismarine ring, and extinguishes it where if it's burning, so basically saves you from fire if you're burning. Now we have another ring that allows you to transfer mana from another player's one, so you can basically transfer mana, you and your friends, if you guys playing together. We have the blasting ring, which grants +1 for blast modifier. Okay, and most of these are gonna be the same idea. So this ring, for example, will grant you 1 range modifier, and all of them are gonna have a cost. So we have here that the ring, the focus crystal ring. This ring is crystal, the arcane beam, causing it to bat. So the arcane beam, which is the spell we used before, makes it go through things. Okay, so and you get the idea. So most of them are like that. Okay, but not all of them are like that. So like we have here the idea of like things that are gonna buff you a little bit. So like here, for example, will give you a buff, and everything has a cost. Now these are all buffs. Now let's talk about things that are not just buffs. Okay, so enchanted sandbag. This casting the harvest spell also attempts to get sealed. So just a buff for a spell, and that was okay. Now let's talk about something very cool. An ever flask of mana. So this is a flask of mana that magically always refills itself, and this is like a new way of like having things. So this added by ancient spellcraft. So the idea of like an artifact that is doing something and it will keep doing it forever, but it's not that strong, but it's always doing it forever. So we have another item here that slowly repairs your withered rope, so that's really cool. Here is like a resource kind of artifact. So this is a magical enchanted bucket, refills itself with coal every day, or every new day. Okay, and we have the same idea for like here, that gets you food, gets you gold nuggets, and here. Now we have this magical item, which what it does, it just makes this spark where it will always make, you can just see. So basically it's an infinite source of light. Okay, now look at, so these orbs are very cool. So like let's just get to those 2 orbs here. So these 2 orbs are basically have the same answer. So this one reduces the cost of mana basically. Okay, now we have here an orb. So 1 progression experience from casting a spell with a master wand is transferred to other one. So you know how like when you always want to upgrade your wands, but you really can't do it and have your own master wand. So this solves your problem. So because you're gonna focus on your master wand and then continue buffing other things. You can constantly increase your power or buffing more one. Now we have the power, and this is one of the jewels of power. Remember that one? So this is one of the stacks. So grants 20 spell potency for all spells, but increases mana cost by 20. So you might make your mana cost really expensive, but it's all for the best. Okay. Now we have here the orb of progression. So knowledge transfer one's progression experience from the source wand instead of mana. So it's basically a better way, also a really good one to make you get more progression. Okay, now here's the orbs. So these orbs are all an elemental orbs, and they're super cool. So let's get into one by one. So each one of them will have the same idea: increase the lightning spell, so it will increase the elemental potency of one thing and reduce all others, but it will have a buff. So like the first one, it will do the thunderstorm spell. Okay, so let's just get them all at once and just use them all. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so these are our orbs. I don't need the rift bottle for. Okay, now the next one is the orb for the ice one. Just makes ice storm. Now we have the orb of clay, which is the earth one. So earthquake. They all have the same idea, so you get the same potency. Now we have the lightning one. It gives you this amazing buff. Darkness one. It's the spell. I don't remember which one was this, but it's a spell which debuffs and annoys everything around you. You have the fire one, so firestorm, and the last one for the sorcery, you get the wave shock all around you. So it's a really cool idea. So like to have an always a spell or like with an artifact. Okay, very cool. Now let's just put all these here, and we don't need all of these herbs, and continue. So we have here the rift bottle, which allows opening the dimension transfer portal. So let's try this. Okay, so this one works with the dimensional portals that you make. So like you have the dimensional portals that you open, and this one basically makes it. Okay. Now let's go for a really cool item. So this grants 15 chance to remain slain undead as a skeleton. So that's really good for summoners players. You can use it to have more summon. Okay. Empowering crystal, which is a crystal that you can chop it and get magic crystals from it, and random magic crystals. So it's an ongoing thing. Okay. I copied some here. Okay. Now okay, we have the Clock of Shadows, and this is a buff for that for the Shadow Blade that we had before. Okay, we have the Grimoire and a collection of practices about elemental revelation, grants 10 bonus spell potency for fire, ice, and lightning spells. So that's a group. Okay, you have the Horn War, which when you use it, you will put fear in everything around, all the mobs. Now we have the master scribe, and it grants you 20% not to use the upgrades to upgrade. So that's super cool that you can use upgrades for a little bit more. You have 20%, you and your luck. Okay, we have the Winter's Heart, grants 25% chance to activate the crisis spell when critically wounded. So I can get you that spell. Okay, and okay. So this spell, so the one that puts you in the chart here. So you can with this two combination together, you really can you will be very hard for you to do. Okay. Okay. Now we have after that here is the okay. The next one, the object of the unknown origin is said to contain an archive about all spells. So this one. It's basically you want a spell in your offhand, so let's just get a spell, and it will tell you and explain to you that spell. So that's really good. And also I wanted to try something. So here, and let's go to survival to try it in survival. But okay, I want a spell that I don't know in survival. Okay, just get this. Okay, and now try it. Use it. And the idea that I wanted to use it in survival, we just make sure that how much it uses. So you see it used a good amount of the item, but if you have like some way of fixing items which somewhat also like you can have some magic Electroblob spells like a fixed item, then you will be set to go. You can just understand the spells and move on and fix it and understand more spells. Okay, now the spray can be focused at one single. Okay, this one is the one that it shoots a lot of different lights spell, and you can, by having this together, you can just focus it on one thing. I just want a zombie here. Okay, let's go to game creative and get a zombie here so we can try it better. Come here. You see, it's super strong, but instead of using 6 different light, there's 6 different lights where they will hit something, they will focus on one thing, put in all the buffs. So you're gonna set it on fire, or maybe with static on it, also freeze it. You're just gonna make that one thing life very hard. Okay, now we have the pills which buff everything on you. Okay, so we have the belt of the enchanter, and that increases the duration of buffs by 20%. Okay, we have here smashing ground with stonefist creates a small earthquake. Okay, reduces the damage of mana vortex to greatly empower its explosion. Okay, and here we have casting a horse whistle while riding a horse causes it a short globe. Okay, now for the last 3 spells is Crown of the Corrupted Might, which gain power for each curse you're inflicted with, and 10% potency per 1 curse. So that's a very strong one, and you can have so much potency by having a lot of different curses on you. Now we have the critical of the word summoned minions will follow their master, so that's a really good build, as I said, because and I really like it because I'm like to play as a summoner. Okay, transportation portals are permanent, and that will make it the last spell or the last artifact. So that's it for ancient spellcraft, and also there's more to spellcraft than I said. There's like some more spells, and there's like small things and that I did for you guys to explore yourself, so you have a very good idea hopefully about the mod. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.